Cancer sucks. But let's talk about something at least a little bit more fun, a little bit more something that you have control of. Um, I'm talking about packing your go bag. The next kind of topic or series of videos that I'm going to post have to do with uh, chemotherapy infusions and your pre visit, your teaching session, and your first infusion. What I want to talk about today is actually preparing yourself for the first infusion by getting your go bag together. And the reason why I'm talking about this a little in advance is because there are some things that you may want to order from Amazon or different places or go out to different stores and get, um, just to kind of have that bag prepped, ready, always packed and ready to go. Um, there's a lot of things out there that people promote that I don't really like buy into or believe in because it didn't do anything for me. Um, so those are the things that I kind of want to go through. What is worth your time, worth your money, and what is worth keeping in that bag so that you always have it ready to go and you don't have to think about it the night before you're getting ready for an infusion. So, first thing you need, obviously, is a bag. I often recommend some kind of nylon bag. I have a bright, uh, a bright like neon greenish yellow puffer bag, something that can be easily wiped off. It looks like, a smaller tote, or like a briefcase style of bag with two handles. Make sure it has different pockets, different zippers, different sections, so that you can go into and easily find the things that you need. I also recommend one that has a section where you can keep a 40-ounce tumbler like a Stanley, um, so that you have a section to put your water in whenever you are going into your infusions. You want water always. You always want to at least uh, be drinking 40 ounces of water, if not more, while you are in your infusion, depending also on how long you were in there. My chemo days were 6 to 6.5 hours long, so I went through basically two 40-ounce tumblers of water. So just make sure you have I recommend a 40-ounce tumbler, whether it's a Stanley or whatever kind of brand you're using. The 40 ounces is a really nice size because it's big enough that you can just remember, I need to fill this up 3 times each day so that I'm maintaining like a normal level of hydration, if not extended hydration. So Stanley and a tote bag. Um, I also recommend finding some kind of hard candy that can keep your mouth moist because you will get dry mouth, no matter what your chemo type is. It will dry out your mouth. So my favorite thing is lemons. I had lemon drops. I had, lifesavers. I had the mints and the fruity lifesavers. Anything that I could just kind of like at a moment's notice. And I kept some in my regular purse too, just so that if my mouth was dry, I could immediately get something in there. Um, as I will talk about in the chemo post, there are so many new advancements now that prevent you from getting nauseated and whatnot while you are getting your chemo. Something that was also beneficial to me to also prevent any type of nausea were ginger chews, and those little ginger shots that have like vitamin C and whatnot in them. You actually can find these little, like I think they're like maybe 2 to 3 ounces, in the section of the grocery store that has like the herbs and the organic produce and whatnot. Um, Usually buy the packaged herbs, but they are nice because you can just throw one in your bag. And if you feel like you're starting to get a little bit nauseated, ginger is definitely a helpful herb for any type of nausea or sensation of nausea. Um, you want some of your favorite healthy snacks. So, granola, whether it be granola bars or just like loose granola, protein bars, protein drinks, um, something that is like sustainable that doesn't need refrigerated. Um, I always took cucumbers and lemon wedges with me too because those are just two of my favorite things. And some people will say that you don't want to take your favorite things to your infusions because your taste will change and it might leave a bad taste in your mouth for some of your favorite foods. That was not the case for me. I wanted to surround myself with things that I actually enjoyed because I was obviously, doing something that I didn't necessarily think was enjoyable. So I wanted something that I knew that I liked. Um, some people will say candy, but you really want to stay away from as much sugar as you possibly can because sugar will actually promote the development of additional cancer cells. So just try to, if you are going to use some kind of sugar, outside of maybe a hard candy, just really try to keep it to a minimum because it's not the first thing that you should really go to. Now, in terms of what else you will need, um, socks, fuzzy socks, any kind of sock. Your feet are going to possibly get swollen, and you're not going to want to be in your shoes the entire time. Most of the chemo infusion chairs actually will recline and will lift your legs. So it will be helpful, but you're going to want a pair of cozy socks, especially if you are going to be in that chair for longer than like a half an hour. So that being said, cozy socks. My sister actually got me a pair of cozy socks that were pink that on the bottom of one foot said, if you can read this. And then on the other foot, it said, I'm kicking cancer's ass. So, one of my favorite things, one of my favorite gifts of all time. And the nurses and the infusion technicians absolutely loved them. And every single one of them would like give me a high five whenever they would walk by my chair. And so it's just kind of like putting yourself again in a positive place because you need to be comfy. So do something fun. Um, Also, in that same regard, you may get hot and cold during that whole entire period. So always make sure you have some kind of like a hoodie or a jacket. Um, and make sure that you take a blanket. And again, I have mentioned this before, and this is not sponsored, but Comfort, the brand Comfort, COMFRT, there's no O. They make the best blankets that I have ever come across. They are the coziest, the softest, the easiest to take care of. And they come in so many pretty bright colors that can lift your spirits. Um, if you are just going to be using this primarily for your infusions, or if you need it, like on the couch at home, they come in like so many different sizes. But they they come in so many different sizes. Um, you just need a medium because this is just like for you. And that's the smallest of the sizes that they actually make. But you just want something that is going to keep you warm. They have to keep it cold in there, in those rooms. And so you just want to make sure you have something that is going to keep you soft and warm and cozy and put you in your best frame of mind. Um, Also, you will, depending on if you have someone there with you, I was allowed to bring one person at least um, each time I went in for an infusion. There were a few times that I was actually, I think it was like twice, that I was actually able to bring more than one person. So my sister and my daughter were able to come with me one time, and that was a fantastic infusion appointment because we had fun. And my sister actually went out and got McDonald's, and they brought that back. And the nurses were all like joking around with us. And it was just a very positive experience. And I wanted both my daughter and my sister to see that it really wasn't a scary place. And it really wasn't something that either one of them had to be like nervous or worried about, that these people were taking care of me and that these were good people. And I wanted them to meet the nurses. So um, it's always good to have someone with you, obviously. But if you aren't going to have anyone with you, make sure that you have your phone, your iPad, a charging cord. Um, you may want earbuds or earphones. I did not use those, but you may want to have those if you are going to be listening to your own music and things like that, because I'm sure that everyone in the entire room does not want to share the same type of things that you are either watching or listening to. So, phone, iPad, charging cords, Kindle. If you're old school like me, an actual book. Um, I'm trying to think of what, like even different like books that have different games in them, like word searches or, crossword puzzles, something to like stimulate your brain while you're trying to sit there, and it'll take your mind off of everything that's kind of like going through your head anyway. Um, so that definitely make sure you have in your bag. And a pen and or pencil, because ultimately you will need to be signing off on something. You will need to use that for any of the little game books or puzzle books that you will bring. Um, and they will provide pillows there for you. I brought my own pillow with my own kind of like special pillowcase because, again, it was like me creating that comfort zone for myself. Um, and you can use their pillows. They are perfectly clean, they are perfectly sanitized, but it was just kind of like my own personal preference because I wanted my I wanted the stuff that was like near and dear to me. So I also made it a point to bring things that reminded me specifically of different people that were in my life. So my sister got me this bracelet that has a saying on it that is like you are stronger than you think. And like with my millions of bracelets here, um, it's this one right here. So on the inside there is a saying that is like you're stronger than you think, and so that would remind me of her. I also have a bracelet that was given to me by my grandmother whenever my daughter was born, and that's just my little Tiffany silver bracelet with the pink heart on it. This little silver one right here. So that one would remind me of my daughter and my grandmother both. And Jimmy got me a cross that I never take off, ever, never, never. And so that stays with me all the time. Just things that will remind you of what you are fighting for. Oh, I also have the little necklace that has the paw print on it, which reminds me of all my little animals. So surround yourself with things that will really put you in a good headspace, that you can kind of look down and say, oh, yeah, I'm doing this for my daughter. I'm doing this for myself, but I'm also doing this for her, and I'm doing this for Jimmy, and I'm doing this for my parents, and I'm doing this for my family. And you just want to put yourself in a good headspace and know everything that you are fighting for is there. Some of the things that I wouldn't so much worry about, they often say to bring these like wristbands that put pressure on the inside of your, um, like right in here, in the inside of your palm area for nausea. Not a fan. I mean, I it did nothing, did absolutely nothing except create numbness in my hand because it was a little bit too tight, and I have small wrists. So I'm not exactly sure if that works for anybody. It did not work for me. Um, so save your money on that. See how you do on your first infusion before you go out and start buying a lot of these, like, I hate to use the word gimmicky, but gimmicky things. Um, they will tell you if the chemo that you are going to be infused will have you lose your hair. That's the scariest thing for most people, at least for most women. You will most likely lose your hair, and you just need to kind of come to grips with that ahead of time. There are different products that you can put on your head that actually stimulate your scalp with like ice in hopes that it will prevent you from losing your hair. They also have cold packs for your feet and for your hands, also. I'm guessing that is to prevent neuropathy. I did not have any neuropathy, so I really can't speak to that, but I didn't have any ice packs at all. Um, I just I just didn't. And it just seemed like if I was going to be cold, I'm a cold person as it was already. I was going to be damned if I was going to be putting ice packs on my feet and on my hand to actually make them, you know, neuropathy go away whenever it wasn't even something that any of the doctors or the pharmacists or whatever the technicians or anybody had even recommended. So I wouldn't really get into too much of that. Um, Something good to keep on hand at home is like a dry mouth rinse. It's not a mouthwash, it's a dry mouth rinse. And it can be very helpful in terms of if you don't want to keep having to put lozenges in your mouth or um, whatnot, you can use this dry mouth rinse in the morning and in the evening, and it is very helpful, and it is very preventative um, on your mouth being dry. It will not make your mouth. Uh, you will not feel like your mouth is as dry. um, in regard to also the hair loss, you will want to make sure that you have some kind of cap or wrap or scarf, or you can look into different types of wigs. I can give people lists of places that are affordable and that actually are good. Um, so that will be in an upcoming video as well. Um, I'm trying to, oh, always keep like hand sanitizer, like the stuff that you would keep in your purse. Buy an extra one the next time you go to the store and just keep it in a small bag, like a small cosmetic bag inside of your go bag. Hand sanitizer, hand cream, because your hands will get very dry. Your feet will get very dry. Obviously, you don't need to worry about that at an infusion, but in the evenings, if you want to put, a really thick lotion on your feet and then put like cozy socks on top of that, it is very helpful. Um, but just don't get bogged down by all of the things that, you're going to have an 80-pound bag if you buy into what everyone on the internet is going to tell you that you need. Um, you don't need all that. Believe me, you don't need all that. You may want an eyeliner or an eyebrow pencil, because a lot of people will, once they start losing their hair after 3 weeks after your first infusion, that is something that you may want to go out and get ahead of time. Um, but that's really about it. You just want to make sure that you are at your most comfortable whenever you are going to be sitting there, whether you have people or a person with you, or whether you are there by yourself. Um, Make sure that you are in the right headspace. Oh, and the other thing that I always did, sorry, that's a crazy interruption. Um, One thing that I always did that would put me in a good mood and put me in a good headspace. Every infusion that I ever go to, I always wore a pretty dress. And whether it was a sundress because I was going through the chemo in like the spring and summertime, whether it was a sundress or whether it was just a very bright color or whether it just put me in a good mood. And like that I was ready for battle. I've always liked wearing dresses. So it's like put on your favorite clothes, make sure that whatever top you are wearing can be they can access your port. And that's another thing that we will be discussing in the future. Um, but you might need something that at least has an open neckline or that can be zipped, or just make sure that whatever nurse is there, they can access your port, which is usually on the left or right hand side. Mine actually sits right here. So it's just something that you want to make a little bit easier for them and easier for yourself. So that being said, if you have any questions about the go bag, or if there's things that you've seen that you have questions about, shoot me a text, shoot me a comment. I will 100% get back to you. And that's really about it. Until next time, stay strong and always